Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Lysha and I'm the owner of Lysha Be Creative. Today's video is going to be showing you some tips and tricks for applying those UVDTF wraps on your glass cans. And I'm going to be featuring some brand new glass can tumblers from Ibesin tumbler supply. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Ibesin and of course tell you guys how to wrap your tumblers or some tips and tricks that I have found have worked for me to hopefully help you guys create some super cute cups to be able to showcase at fairs and vendor events or to sell on your website. So of course, as always, everything that I use in today's video will be listed and linked down in the description box down below, as well as any discount codes. So let's go ahead and jump right into today's video. Okay, so jumping right into this unboxing really quickly. So I got some 16-ounce glass cans from Ibesin.com and you can find them listed down in the description box. They specialize in like sublimation blanks, and what I did love is that they have a lot of different styles that not every tumbler supplier that I typically buy from sells. So that is something that was really intriguing to me as well. And I've really been getting into using UVDTFs on glass cans because those are really popular right now, and honestly I personally love them for my morning coffee because I drink a lot of iced coffee, but I really do love these glass cans and they're perfect for the summer, but also I think that even in the warmer or cooler months as well that they'll definitely be a big hit. So again, these are the 16-ounce glass cans. The box was a case of 25, so I got 25 cans at actually a really decent price on their website. So these are single walled, they come with the bamboo lid and of course the straw, and of course I've listed Ibesin.com down in the description box as well if you'd like to check it out, as well as a discount code to save you guys $7 on your order. So what I'm going to be showing you guys today though is some tips and tricks and things that I have learned, and I feel like I'm still learning when it comes to applying UVDTF wraps to tumblers. So I'm going to of course unbox all of these cups. We don't need the lid for this tutorial, and I'm going to walk you through kind of 3 ways that I have found easiest to be able to apply my wraps. So the first thing I'm going to do before we get into applying our wraps is I like to just wipe down my cup with just a little bit of 91% rubbing alcohol. So I've seen conflicting things about this, cleaning off your cup before you apply your UVDTF. I think that as long as your cup is not wet and still with that solution on it, you've let it thoroughly dry, that you really won't have any issues with any of your UVDTF not sticking. So I've got 3 UVDTF wraps here. I've bought them from 2 different suppliers and websites, which I will link down in the description box. And I also got this super little cute handy cup holder that I use exclusively for applying UVDTF wraps because it's just really easy and really helps my cup sit nicely from Amazon. So the first thing you're going to do is of course you're going to use your squeegee tool and you're going to rub the front and back of your UVDTF. That way you can make sure it is going to stick to the top transfer sheet here. So the first technique here is my tried and true, of course, which is the take the backing off and hope and pray that everything sticks like it's supposed to. This is definitely something that I do in a lot of my projects when it comes to vinyl and things, and for the most part it does work. But for a wrap like this, I really felt that this would be really simple to do and be able to get this applied. So this is kind of trick number 1, not so much a trick necessarily, but if you're really familiar with doing this with like vinyl, this is definitely probably one of the easier ways to go. After you've gotten it applied, you'll notice that I did pick up one side of that transfer sheet first before I secured down the other side. And that is because depending on the size of your glass cans, sometimes you will have a little bit of overlap and you don't want the 2 edges of the transfer sheet to overlap because then you're going to have a heck of a time trying to get that transfer sheet back off or potentially damaging the UVDTF that is still on that transfer sheet. Then you can use your squeegee tool, of course, and really burnish down and make sure all of that decal is placed nicely, and then slowly peel off the transfer sheet off of the top. Okay, so that's kind of the sort of tried and true, but definitely a little bit of risk taking when it comes to doing that technique. So for this, we're going to do this a little bit differently. And so the first thing I'm going to do after I've just sort of squeegeed the top and back side of my UVDTF is I'm going to trim the edge that I'm going to be applying first and the top. So this is a wrap that obviously has to be all applied at the same time. And I want to make sure that I get this on straight or as straight as possible because we don't want it to look weird or wonky in the back. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of pre-measure my cup and just make sure it is going to be sized appropriately. And then I'm going to very carefully remove just a small section of the backing here. The other tip for getting your transfers onto the cup is when you're removing this back sheet, the carrier sheet, make sure that you are doing it with the kind of transfer face down, because if you try and pull it like with it in front of you, sometimes the whole section will not come off. And so I definitely encourage you to like peel or roll the backing back. It seems to be the easiest to get everything to come off the way you need it to. So we're going to do sort of like the hinge method, if you will, here, something that I do also do with vinyl. And we're going to go ahead and just adhere that sort of 2-inch section that I cut off, and then using my felt edge of my squeegee tool, sort of just push that carrier sheet off as I'm rubbing on the UVDTF sticker. So this is something I've done with vinyl, and I have found that it does work with the UVDTFs as well. This one I still managed to put on a little bit crooked, and as I'm watching the video, I can see what happened. It shifted when I put it in, on the little cradle I have for applying. So definitely be sure to do as I say, not as I do. Measure twice before you go to fully commit to applying it. Otherwise, you will end up with a few oopsie cups like I certainly have in my collection. So same process, you're going to kind of slowly pull that backing. I sometimes have to go back if I see that there's some potential lifting of any of my UVDTF with the felt edge of my squeegee tool. You also can use your fingers. You don't have to use the felt edge section or anything that is just like a soft edge to sort of burnish this on. I've seen people just do it with their hands as well though too, if a squeegee is not something you're comfortable using. So this is the third and final way that I have found that has been perfect for adding wraps, and it's probably my favorite, but it doesn't always work with all of the UVDTF wraps. Okay, now for this print, you will notice that although this is a full wrap for the 16-ounce cup, it is not connected. So that mommy, mom, ma, bruh, that one was all connected because of the checkered on the background. So there was no way for me to be able to cut around those sections. So this technique really only works if you have a wrap that is segmented, meaning that you could use your scissors to cut in between different sections to be able to then lay them how you want to on the cup. What I do like also about this technique, like this one is a Thick Thighs Spooky Vibes UVDTF wrap that I grabbed. And what I love about this is I've actually used the same exact wrap on a smaller size cup, a 9-ounce mug with a handle, and because I'm able to sort of cut all of these sections out, I can just place whatever decals will fit. And then I was actually able to use some of the extra decals for creating a cute little lid as well to sort of match the cup. So this is probably my favorite technique, but again, as I mentioned, it doesn't always work with all your wraps. It really is dependent on the wrap. If it's something that's sort of segmented or spaced out that you could cut around, I definitely prefer doing this technique over the other two that I showed in this video. It's definitely my favorite. So the other tip as far as when you are doing this technique is you're going to see me when I apply the second half of this wrap to the other side of the wording on the front, is be very careful when you are applying your sections. If you're not going to kind of trim them additionally, you don't want that transfer sheet that is on the UVDTF to go back onto your decals that are already placed, because sometimes, and I'm speaking from experience of course, sometimes what happens is it will pull up or rip up your UVDTF decal. So just be mindful of that. I kind of like use my hand as a barrier, or I would suggest sort of cutting around that section that might come into contact with the sections that are already on your cup, to just make sure that that transfer sheet, when you pull it up off of the new decals placed, is not going to rip up any of the decals that are already placed. So I've just kind of put my finger there as a buffer because it was going to almost be right on top of one of the little stars that's on the other side of this, and just kind of use that as a buffer so that that transfer sheet didn't cover that section up. So This was of course, super short and sweet kind of video, but I did want to show you guys this because these have been super popular. I am seeing them all over TikTok, all over social media, and I don't think it's a trend that's going to go away yet. So if it's something that you've been looking to try, I definitely encourage you to try them, see what you think of them, and definitely if you have an opportunity, check out Ibesin.com. I really did like some of the items that they had, and definitely will be grabbing up some other cases of other items that I haven't seen at other vendors. So stay tuned for that. But if you guys have any questions, leave those down in the comment section down below. Anything that I can help you with applying your UVDTFs or anything that you'd like to see me feature on the channel. So as always, if you enjoyed today's video, give this video a huge thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And you guys know that I will see you in the next one. Bye!